G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'll be going through my early AFL predictions for 2023. So yeah, super early predictions. So I'll be doing the ladder. So yeah, I'll only be doing the ladder. I won't be doing the Brownlow or any of that other stuff. So yeah, before we do get into the video though, I would just like to say over this off season, the uploads won't be as consistent. There'll probably be 2 a week, one including the weekly vlog, but potentially 3 since I'm just not at all motivated to upload videos at the moment, and they're not getting views. Oh well, actually, the dunk contest did alright for my standards, but yeah, so I won't be uploading too many videos, but do expect some front yard cricket videos to come out though. So yeah, but without any more interruptions, let's get straight into it. So in 18th, I have GWS. Now the reason I have them is because I think it's like self-explanatory. They're a horrible team. They don't have a great list. Oh well, actually no, that's actually they have a decent list, but they played terrible last year. They've got a new coach, and I don't see them doing anything this year. I reckon they're going to be an absolutely terrible team, but I do think that they'll be able to climb back up the charts in a few more years' time, but I think they will be wooden spooners next year. In 17th, I have the Hawks. Now, the reason being is that 7 of their 8 leadership team are now gone. Like, they've either retired or been traded. So they had a terrible trade period, the Hawks. They did get Carl Amon, but that's about it. They lost, Tom Mitchell, Ben McAvoy retired, Jager O'Meara. They lost a lot of their players, and they now have a pretty bad list. So I think that they will be finishing 17th. Also, Sam Mitchell, obviously a young coach, pretty new coach, so I don't think he's got what it takes just yet to be able to take this team a bit out of the out of the bottom 4. In 16th, I have North, even though that Alistair Clarkson is now their coach. I just feel with the list they have, that they're not going to be able to do too much next year. I think they will get a couple good wins against maybe a few top 8 sides, and I don't think they'll be too bad, but they will still finish in 16th. In 15th, I have the Dons. Now, this one is another one that's pretty self-explanatory. A shocking year for them, and they've now got a new coach. They don't have a CEO at the moment, and actually, do they? I don't think they do. And yeah, I can't see them doing much. Their list is pretty plain. They haven't got much talent. I've got to say, I'm sorry, but yeah, I've got them in 15th. I don't think they'll be doing much in season 2023. In 14th, I have West Coast. Now, I feel like they'll be a bit better. West Coast. We started to see some games where they were improving at the end of this season, so I feel like they can improve a bit. West Coast, they'll be 14th. They did gain a couple players, as Luke Jackson, and I think Jaden Hunt. They need that speed off halfback, so I think he's going to be a very, very in inclusion, and I think he's going to be potential All-Australian next year. I think he'll be great for them. So yeah, the Eagles, I feel like they'll be able to climb the charts a little bit. They're not too bad of a team. They do still have some talent, especially in their midfield. In 13th, I have the Saints now, mainly because their list is boring. But what they need is a game breaker. Someone like a Jake Stringer type, a Jordan De Goey's type, a Dusty Martin type. They need one of them players, but they just don't have it. Their list is pretty boring, and they did lose a few players. Like Ben Long, he's one of their best I cannot speak. Best players. They did gain Zane Cordy, but I don't think he's going to do much for them. So, yeah, the Saints, purely because of they don't have a coach anyways now, so they've sacked Brett Ratton after he got a contract, and, yeah, I don't see the Saints doing very well this year. In 12th, I have Adelaide now. Adelaide, they had a decent year this year, but again, see, it wasn't great. Like, they finished, I think, bottom 4. So, yeah, I've got them in 12th. I don't see them improving that much, but they do have a very nice list, I reckon, and they're going to be a very scary team in a couple of years. Like, they've brought in some nice young players, Isaac Rankin, and I think they bring in someone else, can't remember. But yeah, I think they're going to be very, very, very deadly in a few more years. In 11th, I have the Dogs. I know they have a very good list, but I feel like Luke Beveridge could almost get the sack this year. I just don't see the Dogs making the 8. I just don't think they've got it in them. I know they have a very good list, but they did have a terrible trade period. I know they did bring in Rory Lobb, but they did lose guns like Josh Dunkley, and they also lost someone else, but me having a bad memory, can't remember. So, yeah. In 10th, this is my first controversial one. I have the Sydney Swans. So, yep, I've got them dropping out of the 8 after making the grand final. It's history. It just happens. It's what happens. I feel like they will be a very, very poor team for the first 15 rounds, but they'll make a late surge to almost make the 8, but I think they'll just miss out. So Sydney, they didn't have a bad trade period, but I don't think they gained any players actually. So yeah, Sydney, I don't see them doing much this year. I just feel like they're too young. I feel like they're going after a grand final loss. I don't think a team that young will be able to cope with making top 4 again. So I feel like this will just be one-off year for Sydney, but they will be back in season 2024. In 9th, who misses out in the 8? I have Port Adelaide. So the Power, I feel like they're going to get so close, but they're just going to miss out. They have a very good list, the Power. That's why I have put them in 9th. I feel like they could easily make the 8. I like their list. I like where they're going, but it's either a good year for them or a bad year. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they made bottom 4, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they made like top 6. So yeah, but I think this is their last year. If they don't make the 8 this year, next year, then they won't be making the 8 anytime soon. In 8th, I have Melbourne. So another one of a bit of controversial one that did not make sense. But yeah, another controversial one. I don't see them doing that much. I know that they have bring in Brodie Grundy, but they also lost a few players like Luke Jackson, Jaden Hunt, and I know that them players won't affect their list too much, losing them, but I just feel like they were very plain last year, and the competition just knows their game now. They know how they play, so I feel like that they won't be as good as they have been in like 2021 and parts of 2022. In 7th, I have Richmond. Now, the best trade period in the competition, picking up Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper. So, yeah, I definitely think that they're going to be a threat in season 2023. I don't think that they'll be top 4 and be an extraordinary team, but I do think that they'll be able to do some damage and probably make it into the second round of finals. In 6th, I have the Gold Coast Suns. So, yeah, they've made their first final series. I've got them making their first final series, and they're finishing 6th. So, yeah, I know they did lose Isaac Rankin, but they did gain someone. Can't even remember because my trade period memory is way gone up there in space. That's where it is because I can't remember anything. So yeah, I just think how they played last year or this season, they were sensational. I loved watching the Suns. I loved the way they played. I definitely think they're making the 8, no doubt about it. And you cannot change my mind. Even though this is an early prediction, I will still have them in the top 8 in my actual predictions. In 5th, I have Freo. Yeah, they did have a very poor trade period, but I still think that they'll be able to do some damage. I think they'll up their game a bit using the corridor a bit more, and I think they'll be a very fierce team, aggressive team. I just think it's going to be the defense that lets them down, and when it comes to playing top 8 sides, I don't think they're going to be that much of a challenge for the other teams. I just feel like they will get a good percentage because I reckon they'll be able to smash the bad teams. But when it comes to playing good teams like Geelong and Brisbane, experienced teams like that, I feel like that is when they will be exposed with their bad defence because I don't think they're going to have a great year defensively. In 4th, the Carlton Blues. So, yeah, I've got Carlton in 4th. After just missing the 8 last year, sucked in Carlton fans, you losers. I'm so glad you missed it because I'm a Pies fan. I was about to point this up, but this is actually a Brooklyn Nets jersey. So yeah, I feel like Carlton, they have a great list, and they were a great team last year, except for the last couple of rounds. Oh well, actually, they weren't too bad the last couple of rounds. They just got a bit unlucky. They were playing better teams than them. So yeah, I've got them finishing fourth. They're going to be hard to beat. I feel like the only thing that will let them down is their defense, because their midfield is great, their forward line is great, and also their ruck will be another thing that will be exposed against them, because they do not have a ruckman at all. They got Mark Pittonet, but he's pretty much nothing. In third, I have Geelong. I feel like their game will be exposed a little bit, because teams will sort of, study them, how they play, how they've won the premiership, and their game will sort of be stopped a bit by the top teams. So I've got them in third. I still think they'll be a good team this year though, and I do have them making the top four. In second, I have Collingwood. Go the Pies! I reckon we'll be an even better team than we were last year, and I don't think we'll be winning games by a point each round. Though I think we'll be winning them sort of comfortably. We've rang in Tom Mitchell. We've rang in. I can't even remember. My trade period knowledge is terrible. We've rang in Tom Mitchell, Billy Frampton. Who else did we bring in? We bring 4 players, and I cannot even remember. But we bring in someone else who's going to be very handy for us. Can't even remember. And I know we did lose Grundy, but we did have a pretty successful trade period anyways. So I don't think that will really matter too much. And I think we're going to be a excellent team, because not only is our top 18 very good, but our bench is also going to be sensational. And in first, that leaves Brisbane. So I feel like Brisbane, this is their last shot of a premiership, and I know I did say this last year, but I really mean it this time. This is their last chance to win a flag. So I've got Brisbane in first. I feel like they'll be a good team. They have a stable defence. They have a very good midfield, and they have a pretty good forward line as well. And I think they'll be able to do a lot of damage and make it pretty far in finals. I don't think they'll win the premiership though, but I do think they'll go far into finals, and I do think that they will finish first. So that was my predictions, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. And remember, these are only my early predictions. These are very early predictions. I will upload a video in about January or February of releasing my actual predictions, and I'll do a squiggle version as well, not just this type of version. So yeah, without further ado, what am I saying? Anyways, that's it, guys. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.